cleansing. So because of the new moon, it's the perfect time to cleanse, rest and restore. And it's going to be a really gentle practice, so we're not even going to get up and off the mat, we're going to stay mat bound. Hello everyone joining in, make sure you've got some space, some peace and quiet. We're going to start down on our mats. As I just said at the start, if you missed it, this is a really gentle practice. So the Friday class is the restorative and the Sunday morning is the vigorous power flow. But this class is really quite close to my heart. I really do believe that we all need to spend more time resting and recovering in that kind of restorative mode that we do in the kind of get up and go mode, especially with our new moon in Gemini. It's the perfect time to be slowing down and stepping back. So for that reason, our practice is going to be based around cleansing and detoxing the body. So we're going to be taking lots of twists to massage our internal organs and also some hip opening as well. So we're going to come into a comfortable position just to connect with our breath to begin with. So you can take easy pose with legs crossed. You can take a kneeling pose, hero, or you can take any seated position that works for you. We'll rest the hands on the knees and we'll just feel a sense of the crown of the head growing tall, and we'll take a slight tuck to the chin. Now just start to arrive on the mat. Acknowledging everything that you've done today up until now. Not judging it as good or bad. Just knowing that it's happened. And that now is this time for you. And as with any yoga practice, the most important part is our connection and our awareness to our bodies and our breath. So just take a moment now to draw your focus to your breathing. And we're told all the time, or we're led to believe that we need to hold our belly in. I'd really like you to work with expanding the belly as you breathe in. And then as you exhale, feel it soften. Taking a deep breath into the belly, feeling it grow. And breathing out to feel it return. So really working through with those deep breaths. Noticing how the mind automatically starts to calm. And yes, there will be thoughts that come into the mind, but you're just going to watch them pass like clouds in the sky. Seeing if you can deepen the breath. So as you breathe in through the nose, you breathe in with your full lung capacity. And then when you breathe out, you're breathing out completely. On your next inhale, nod your chin to your chest and softly open the eyes. Lifting the head back to the shoulders, we're going to come forward onto our hands and our knees. So bringing the hands under the shoulders, the knees under the hips, and just take a slight rock side to side. Just gauge for yourselves how your hips are feeling. Maybe you want to take some circles here and kneeling one way and then the other way. Check in with the hip flexors at the front of the hip. Check in with the glute min and lead at the side. And then when you're ready, stepping your right foot, in between your hands. And we're going to come to a low lunge position. So just making sure the pelvis is dropping and sinking down. Front knee in line with front ankle. You don't want the knee to go too far over forwards. And here we're just thinking about sinking the hips down to the ground. You control the distance in between your legs. So if it's too much, you can ease back a little bit. If you can move further into the pose, of course you're going to widen the distance in between the legs. So just settle in, take a moment to shift and to adjust. And we're holding this pose for 1 minute. So taking deep and slow breaths. Closing off the eyes if you feel comfortable to do so. And yoga is a cleansing practice by default. We're really working with that being our intention for our practice today. So with each inhale, just imagine that you are nourishing each and every individual cell in your body. And then when you breathe out, you're breathing away toxicity, anything that's negative or that isn't serving you. We have just 2 more breaths in this pose. Really start to deepen the inhale and extending the exhale. Last breath. And then slowly starting to activate the body. We're going to come into lizard. So I'd like you to toe heel your right foot. It might come to the outer edge of the mat. Maybe it's going to come completely off the mat. Maybe you're staying up on the hands. Maybe you want to edge down to your forearms, coming into full lizard. This is quite an intense hip opener. We're targeting more to the outside of the hip now. We've changed that front leg. Once again, we are here for 1 minute. If the thought of 1 minute sounds too long, or the thought of it feels too antagonizing, maybe edge out of the pose a little bit. Knowing that you don't always have to go into your fullest of each posture. Can come into about 70-75%, finding your edge. Slowing the breathing down. We have 2 more breaths here. And then starting to activate the body, we're going to come up onto the hands. We're going to come into dragon pose. So we're actually going to revolve around. We're going to see if we can lift the back leg. So we're reaching hold for the foot. Now this again is quite intense for the hips and for that quadricep. So if you prefer, you can let that leg drop down and we're just going to send the gaze behind. So you can bring your hand to your hip, push the hips down and open up, gazing at that back foot. If you can, we're going to be reaching for the toe, opening out through the back quadricep, sorry. Now for those of you that have the space to, you might be coming down onto your front left arm's forearm. There we go, works. Wherever you are, really try and twist into this. So we're sending the gaze to that back hand, back shoulder. Closing off the eyes as and when suits you. Knowing that yoga is all about internal cleansing, not external exercise. We're going to release that foot down nice and slowly. We're going to step the right foot back and we're going to just come into a gentle child's pose just to take a moment to rest. Gentle shift of the hips side to side. Breathe into the space in the pelvis. Just here for a moment before we take that same sequence on the other leg. So we have those lunges coming through with the left leg. So bringing the left foot in between the hands. I'm just going to change sides so I'm not facing away. So left foot coming in between the hands. And we arrive in our low lunge on our second leg. So just begin to settle in. If you spend a lot of the day seated, as lots of us do, know that your hip flexors, so that area in the front of the pelvis, is contracted, is shortened for the majority of the day. So what we're doing is we're actually sending it in the opposite direction. So if it feels strange, if it feels odd, that's because your body's probably not used to this position. It might feel really nice. Wherever you are, really try and settle the pelvis down. So feel as if the pelvis is really heavy. And again, you control that distance in between front leg and back leg. When you find your edge, when you find that biting point where you think that you could remain, see if you can close off the eyes and find some stillness. Finding stillness in the physical body, but knowing that the breath is always fluid within. And that's just moving into our new moon in Gemini. We have so many planets in air signs now. So the air is abundant. So really feel that sense of air being fluid and air being plentiful. We hold this for just 2 more breaths. And then starting to activate the body, we're going to toe heel that left foot to the outer edge. And there's an external rotation through that leg, so my toes are facing outwards. Maybe you've brought that foot all the way off of your mat. So as we come into lizard, we are going to potentially bring those forearms down to the floor. That really does intensify this lunge position, so know that if you are staying up on your hands, if you're even drawing the feet closer back together, that's absolutely fine. Once again, just reminding ourselves of our intention being internal cleansing, not external exercise. Just notice any tendencies to want to fidget. Any resistance to the stillness that you ask of yourself. And if your mind starts to wander off of your practice, just draw your focus back. Without judgment, without frustration, just a gentle guide. Bringing yourself back to the physical sensations that you can feel in your body. Two more breaths here, we hold together. And now starting to activate the body, we come up onto those hands, coming into dragon. So you might need to pad the back knee. I have knobbly knees, so I definitely feel this when I bend my back leg. So we're taking hold of either the toe, you might be reaching outside of the foot. Really we're looking for the outside of the foot so we can really open through that left shoulder. Remember, if you come to this version and it's too much for the body, you can release that back leg down. I've been teaching for 3 years now, and up until about 6 months ago I couldn't do this. So if you come into this position and it feels unobtainable, don't be frustrated, don't judge yourself, don't be annoyed with your body. And some days you'll come into a pose and it will just happen. And other days it will be more of a struggle. And those days when it's a struggle is really time to listen to that internal voice. Your inner dialogue, and just note if that's a telltale sign for you to hold back. Let's hold for just 2 more breaths here. And then releasing that back foot. If you're holding on to it, nice and slowly bring that left leg behind. Come into a generous width in between the knees, toes together, and we'll sit back in that child's pose. Just allow your body to melt down towards the floor. The floor is inviting you to rest here. Just be conscious of the feelings of safety that we feel here in this pose. In child's pose, we protect our internal organs. We shield our face. So we feel an element of safety, of protection. Whatever it is that you can feel here, just embrace any and all sensations. Let's take 2 more slow breaths together here. And then just start to walk your hands closer to the knees, coming up onto the knees, and we'll just take our time to come onto our sit bones. Just going to check they're all still good. I've not got my contacts in today, so I can't, I can't see if you're there or not, if you are. So we're going to come into cow face. So we're going to bring the left leg underneath. We want to take a deep bend to the left knee and tuck the left foot by the hips. And then the right leg's going to come over the top. So we stack knee on top of knee. Now if this is too much, if it's too intense, you can straighten out that left leg. And you can just take the right ankle to the left thigh. We're still working with an opening in that hip, we've just not made it as intense with the legs. So decide for yourself what version is going to be best for you. We're going to take a twist and a side bend in this position. So just taking a moment to settle in. If you can, try and ground both hips into the floor. So both sit bones, if possible, sinking, melting down into the floor. We're going to go up tall through the spine. There's a tendency to want to relax into this, but we're going to lengthen the crown of the head up. Take a deep breath in here. Bring left hand to the outside of the thigh, and as we exhale, just come into a twist. So you can either just have the left hand on the outside of the right thigh, maybe you want to provide a little bit more of an anchor there to revolve you round further. Using that hand, the right hand behind you at the back of the pelvis, just to keep the back lifted and tall. With each inhale we grow taller, and with each exhale we spiral round a little bit more. Let's take 4 more deep breaths together here. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, just melt into that twist. 2 more breaths. And on your next inhale, gaze front. Release that arm, come back through to centre. We're moving over towards the front top leg. So if you've done the same leg as me, we're moving over to the right. Just itsy bitsy spider that hand over to the right side. And you can tell for yourself if you're going to stay up on the hand. Maybe you're going to come down onto the forearm. Maybe you stay on the hand and you eventually make your way to the forearm. Reach the left top arm over, and you can just stretch that up and over by the left side of the ear. See if you can gaze up. So we're opening through side body, not collapsing and rounding down. We take 4 breaths together here. Inhale, find space. And exhale, soften. Can you deepen that inhale any more? Last breath. On your next inhale, we release back to centre. Take the arms down and take a moment to uncurl those legs. Let's take that on the other side. So coming into cow face on the other leg. So right leg tucks under, left leg comes over the top. Now ideally we're looking to get the knees in one straight line. Mine don't always stay there, so yours might not either. If we're not taking that version, if the hips are feeling tight today, you can come to this version, half lotus with the right leg straight, the left leg bent, the left ankle is sitting somewhere on that right thigh. Find a position that works for you. It helps to take the feet quite wide in cow face. There's space for the hips. Just jiggle until you get comfortable. And then you're going to, again, lengthen up tall. So when the hips are opening as a kind of compensation, we feel that we want to retreat and retract in to protect those hips, but we're not going to hurt them, it's fine. So ground the sit bones into the floor, feel that connection. Fingertips come either side and we grow tall. Lengthening crown of the head forwards and up. Taking your right hand to the outside of the left thigh. Left hand comes behind, take a deep breath in and lengthen up. And then as we exhale, gazing towards that back left shoulder if you can. Either leaving that right hand on the outside of the left thigh, or you might like to take that elbow and forearm across. Just working as a little bit more of a leverage to keep you in this twist. Breathing into that left side hip, feeling that powerful opening in the pelvis. Again, working through that breathing pattern. Inhale, we lift and lengthen, growing an inch taller. And as we exhale, we allow that twist just to happen a little bit more. Just 3 more breaths here in this twist. On your next inhale, gaze forwards, and then exhale just to release that leg. We're moving over to the left hand side now, or whatever leg you've got in front. That's the direction we're traveling. So really ground in through the sit bones. We're going to walk that hand out towards the left. Just playing around with that side bend. Maybe you're coming down onto the forearms. Maybe you prefer to stay up. We're going to reach that right arm all the way up and over, lengthening through side body. Seeing if you can gaze up at that inner forearm. Noticing where you feel any sensations. Breathing into tension. We take 4 breaths together here. Let's take 1 more deep breath. Inhale. Exhale everything out, using the inhale to push yourself back up. And release those legs. Well done. Coming over nice and slowly onto your backs. We're going to come into some intense twists now. So just taking a moment to bring the back down onto the floor. You might like to bring the knees into the chest. Take a little hug, take a squeeze. The weight of the legs can almost work as a massage for that lower back on the floor. We're going to keep hold of the right leg. So keeping hold of the right, send the left leg long. And really squeeze that right leg into the chest. So we're trying to close off the distance between the right thigh and the chest. And then once you've really squeezed it in towards the body, you're going to take the left hand to the outer edge and you're going to roll that right leg all the way over. to the left hand side. You can take the right hand and lengthen that away from you, sending your gaze to look away from your legs. So we have a combination of the right leg being bent and twisted over, but that left leg is straight and long. You have an option to stay here, or you can lengthen that right leg away from you, either just opening the angle of the knee, or you might wish to grab hold of the right foot with the left hand. How's your coordination? It took me a while. So just notice how this intensifies this twist. Those of you that have got the space to, by all means feel that you can stay here. Maybe if you'd like to take it further, we bend the bottom leg, the straight leg, and we reach for it with our hand. So we've come into a real kind of pretzel here. We've got the right leg resting over to the left side. And if holding that bottom leg is too much, of course you can leave it long. You can gaze at that right hand. Wherever you are in this twist, just really allow the internal organs to soften. So we're not tensing in the center, we're not tensing the abdominal wall. We're just allowing everything to go. And then softly bending that leg, if it's not already. We bring both legs back through to center. Take a moment to hug the knees into the chest and give them a little squeeze. Once again, mini massage for the low back. And then taking hold of the left leg this time. So we're taking hold of the left thigh, holding it in towards the body. Right leg is out straight and long. Trying to squeeze that leg as close towards your body as you can, really closing off the distance, opening up through the opposite hip flexor. And then from here, taking that left leg all the way over to the right side. You might like to shift the hips to the left. So coming into this twist, just starting off, we are using the right hand on the outside of the left thigh, just as a little bit of weight. So you know how that twist felt on your first side, and you know how far you took it there. So just play around with what one of these variations of twists work for you. So maybe you're keeping that leg bent. Maybe you're taking hold of the left foot with the right hand, and you're straightening off that leg. And then once you have arrived in this version, you have again that option of bending your straight leg at the bottom and reaching for it with your hand, coming into that pretzel-like twist. If that's too much for you, you can straighten that leg off, keep it long. Gaze out at your left arm. And again, we try and deepen the breath in our twists. Allowing your belly to expand and soften. Taking one last breath here. And then bending that top leg if it's not already. We draw it back through to center. We're going to come into a really cleansing pose now, called candle pose, or you might know it as leg up the wall pose, and you can do exactly just that. So we're going to lift the legs up into the air. Now, if doing this puts a lot of strain on your abdominal muscles, so you feel a shaking in the core. You can choose to either hold the legs in this position, or you can rest the thighs and the calves up against a wall. So you don't have to have them hanging in the air if that's not restful for you. We're going to be here for a few breaths. So just finding your version of candle pose, closing off the eyes. And just really feeling a sense of the legs being weightless here. And when you breathe down, I'd like you to direct your breath into the legs. So you're breathing all the way into the soles of the feet. And breathing out from the soles of the feet. And then from where you are in your candle pose, you're going to take a variation with wide legs. So you're going to allow the feet to open. We're going to come into a wide leg version. Careful not to cook your legs on candles. And just take a moment here just to rock the feet, rock the legs side to side. Know that it's very normal to bring the legs to about 45 degrees. Maybe you have more space. Maybe the inner thighs are feeling free of tension. Maybe that's something that you're still working towards. Know that this does require quite a lot of core strength to hold these legs here. So if you're not up against a wall, know that it is a little bit of work for the core as well. But we're here for just 4 more breaths. So really finding a way of directing the breath with purpose into the belly. And then exhaling. Inhaling deeply. Exhaling completely. Last 2 breaths together here. And then slowly bending those legs. You can bring the hands either sides of the knees just to bring them back into the body. Once again, we'll squeeze those knees. Allow those hips to move in the opposite direction. Just giving them time to release. So just coming into happy baby pose before we take our relaxation. We're going to take our peace fingers, our yogi grip behind our big toes. And we're going to interlace them behind. Then drawing the knees towards our armpits, we're going to bend the elbows out to the sides. Now in Happy Baby, you can choose to remain still. You might opt for a little rock. Maybe you want to lift the pelvis off the floor and put it back down again. Curling that lower spine and imprinting it down into the mat. And then when you're ready, just releasing those feet. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together, opting to take your relaxation in reclined butterfly. If you don't wish to remain here for the length of your relaxation, by all means you can take a traditional shavasana and take the legs out long. Wherever you are, I'd like you to bring the hands over the belly. Just really working with drawing some focus direction to the breath. At the same time, allowing the body to give in here. Allowing the body to completely give in to the sensations of gravity. We're beginning to notice the feel of the air around your skin. Maybe you can feel a breeze. Just gaining an awareness of all of the air that surrounds you in this moment. The abundance of air. Breathe in fully this air. And feel it fill your body up. As if you become now weightless. Weightless and full of air. Just for a few moments now, as I take my voice back, enjoy these moments of relaxation. Enjoy these moments of peace. And now slowly starting to activate the body. If you're still in butterfly, you can stretch your legs out long on the floor. Maybe you'd like to send the arms up and overhead, lengthening down the sides of the body, down the legs. Take a deep breath into this length. And then as you exhale, roll over onto your right side. Just resting here in the fetal position just for a few moments before slowly bringing yourself up into a seated position with me. Bringing your hands through to heart center, just take a moment to acknowledge the start of our new lunar season in Gemini. May this new lunar season bring you a fresh start, bring you new beginnings and new intentions. Shanti, Namaste. Namaste, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed today's practice.